Well, joining me here in San Francisco is Informatica CEO Amit Walia. Informatica uses AI to help power its data management and government tools across multiple clouds. Great to have you here in studio. Great to be here in San Francisco, so thanks. Let me ask you about what Josai is saying here. The way I think about it is you've got the hyperscalers who have their clouds that they're building out. Then you've got everybody else. If there's an overbuild, the hyperscalers have plenty of money and resources to sort of wait out a digestion period, but maybe not everybody else does.
Well, John, good to be here. Thank you. What a lovely view. Good to be in the Bay Area versus New York with you.
Yeah.
But look, I look at this as an analogy to when the freeways were being built back in the US, right? We had to build the freeways, and did we connect more cities than we needed to in the beginning where the traffic was not there? Maybe we did. And I think that's okay. In every new technology curve, some of that happens. I think the way I look at it is that some amount of overbuild may happen. And I think what I'm more excited is ultimately that CapEx, that infrastructure build has to put to use, where applications have to be built, the data from those applications have to be brought to customers for them to use. And I think that's the curve in which work is happening right now. Of course, that's behind the infrastructure build right now, the pace at that. And I think I see that economy definitely growing. And I think we're all working on that for the infrastructure build to be put to use for our customers.
You're also dealing with a transition continuing into the cloud, and some choppiness in that over the last quarter certainly affected the stock. Peeling that back a little bit, what are you hearing from big customers? Why the unevenness in renewals, and what does that signal either about the economy or about their certainty around their technology evolution?
I think it's that time of the look. Step back. What happened for us is we are going through a on-prem to cloud transition. Not for the faint of heart, especially to do it as a public company. And what I get excited is that our cloud business, which has in the last 8 to 9 years gone from zero to this year being guided to $1 billion of ARR, guided to growing 25%. Nothing to sneeze at. We're proud of it with an NRR of 120% plus and thousands of customers. And I think we are squarely focused on that. And look, this year, that will be 60% of our total ARR. And you know, John, once that happens, we inflect to total ARR growing a lot faster. What companies like Adobe, Intuit of the world have done in the past, we're doing it now. I think what happened for us is basically we are going through that phase, has its own lumpiness sometimes. There is like accounting, there is other choppiness that comes into play that impacted us. But we're squarely focused on grow the cloud business because that's the one that will ultimately turn the tide for the total ARR to be growing into high single digits to double digits.
The way I think about it, you guys at Informatica are one of those really at the base foundational level of this AI transition, because data management, being able to do that right, everything AI-wise is built on top of that. Is the data available? Is it the right data, the safe data for various agents to even access? At what point is the bulk of your customer base in having their data management policy and their data positioned correctly for that AI inflection?
Yeah, and that is the exciting part, what's happening right now. Look, our AI is through the lens of our AI called CLAIRE. We started our journey back in 2018. Back in the machine learning days, CLAIRE was basically doing machine learning-driven AI. When Genic AI came by, we had our Copilot out. We had our CLAIRE GPT out about more than a year ago now. And by the way, in our user conference in May, we'll be announcing our whole agentic CLAIRE strategy and go live with that. And what we're seeing is actually, in fact, we have CLAIRE GPT being used by hundreds of customers, doing exactly the kind of work in terms of experiments and POCs to get ready for the things you're saying. Hey, I want to bring the right data through the models to be trained to put to use for, let's say, customer sentiment analysis. But not only do I have to bring a lot of data, it has to be good quality data. Those are all things that we do. And then before I go into true production, people have to start thinking about AI governance, because without governance, you can have wrong things happen at the wrong time. And where the current human intervention has to be there, accessing that particular workflow versus it being fully automated. And we are seeing customers do that. Actually, we are. We had almost like, we have recipes being designed. But I think where we are in enterprises, customers still in the early stages. We haven't seen full-scale productions go live yet. Lots of work happening, though. I do see end of this year, beginning of next year, that inflection curve going. Like, again, in a much more volume.